In part 1 and 2 of Rules of Composition, we talked about how you can utilize some of these elements of composition and get really great looking photos right from the start. And in part 3, we're going to talk about how you can turn your vacation, travel, landscape photos into beautiful works of art. And to me, this has always been a really exciting way of just changing an image. Even though it's good to start with, it's going to enhance it even more. It's going to just make it, it's going to turn it into a masterpiece. So let's get started. Okay, we're going to start with this photo that we showed you earlier of the boats. And this particular image is exactly how it came out of the camera. And as I mentioned before, this was taken with my Fuji XM1. However, the camera really isn't all that important anymore because I know there's a lot of people getting beautiful images and movies from their iPhones or portable, just really tiny small cameras now that are just remarkable. But this is the way the image looks as it came out of the camera. And it's not really all that bad. However, it's got a couple little flaws that might interfere with not making it the best that it could be anyway. So let's talk about that. First of all, as you could see on the right-hand corner bottom, there's a little round emblem or something on one of the boats. That's a little bit distracting. And some of the sand is a little bit bright. So when you look at this image, first of all, you have to remember that your eye goes to the brightest area of an image. So you want to make sure that the brightest area is where you want your eye to go. You want to make sure that your eye is just not bouncing all over the place. So we're going to take care of that little round circle on the boat. We're going to just Photoshop that out. By the way, the version of Photoshop that I use on these images is an old version. It's Photoshop 7. I believe I got that in the early 2000s. And I do have the CS versions, but I just learned how to use Photoshop 7. And for what I need it for, it does a great job. But you can do the same thing in other programs, Photoshop Elements. I know people that use that, and it's a very excellent program as well. So I've used the clone tool, and I got rid of that circle on the boat. And right about halfway in the center, maybe left bottom, there's something on the beach there. It's a little distracting because your eye goes there. Looks like a rock or a leaf or something. And then we're going to also take that out. So the first thing we're going to do is just tone it down. I'm going to just darken the whole print slightly. And this is how it looks after we darken the print slightly all around. And then here we're taking out the rock is gone. And now we have that distraction circle thing that was on the boat gone too. So you can see it's already a better image. And I also, by the way, just darkened the tones of those boats slightly too, because we want the eye to go there, but not to just stay there. We want the eye to sort of flow with the diagonal line of the beach, of the surf there, and it heads over into the clouds. So that's what makes it sort of a nice dramatic image. So we're going to make a copy of this image, and then we're going to paste it onto a board. Now this is how I would make this up into print competition. We always had to put it on the mat board. And now with Photoshop, of course, we can do it all in one. So I would just create another canvas in a certain size that I want this print to be. And I'm going to just paste this image onto that canvas. And of course, you can make the canvas any color. Here I chose black. And make sure you're on the layer of the print. We're going to put a little border. It's called a stroke in Photoshop. And I always get the tone of the stroke that I'm using right from the image itself. So I took this tone, color of the stroke from the clouds, and that's how it looks. So it's a pretty nice looking print as it is. However, if we go one step further, I put a texture on there. I think it's called a craquelure. And I put this over the whole image, and then I just backed off the opacity of it we're just looking at the possibilities of all the different things you can do, and I'm just sharing this. Maybe sometime in the future I'll put together some kind of a tutorial or something on how all these things are done, or at least how I do it anyway. It's going to take a little while, but I think this way you can follow along step by step if you're not that familiar with Photoshop. But right now we're just showing you the possibilities. So this one has a little bit of a texture over it, which is kind of neat just the way it is. So this is pretty much finished. However, we can even take it to the next level. Let's make it into a sepia tone print, a brown tone print. It's kind of neat like that, although it's not bad in color. I do like it in color, but it's kind of interesting as a brown tone as well. Now, here's another step that you can take this photo to. What I did here was give this image a painter effect. And I did this effect in Photoshop, actually. There's quite a few people using programs like Painter, but I was just horsing around in Photoshop and I came up with this. I was using one of the brush, I forget what it was called, but this is very similar to the effect that you would get in the Painter program, which does an awesome, amazing job, much better than this would be. But anyway, I did this in Photoshop. Then of course, after it's done, you sign it. And there it is. So that's your first work of art.